Hello YouTube, what is going on? It's your boy GZTV back with another video. And in this video we are going to be reviewing the 1979 science fiction horror film directed by Ridley Scott, written by Dan O'Bannon. Obviously Ridley Scott is very iconic, so this is just one of the many films, in his filmography that we are going to be covering. So yeah, let's get into it. So starting off with the plot, you know how these videos go, you know how we kind of break up and distribute. So the commercial space tug Nostromo is returning to Earth with a 7-member crew and Stasis. These are kind of like the main characters: Captain Dallas, Executive Officer Kane, Warrant Officer Ripley, Navigator Lambert, Science Officer Ash, and Engineers Parker and Brett. So they're trying to return to Earth. Detecting a transmission from a nearby moon, the ship's computer mother awakens the crew. Like, they're planning to just go back to Earth and kind of, like, live the rest of their lives, you know? But the computer's like, wait, there's something here. We could find another sort of life form, you know? Per company policy requiring any potential distress signal be investigated, they land on the moon despite Parker's protest, sustaining damage from its atmosphere and rocky landscape. Now, I don't know, it's kind of stupid that they have this company policy that whatever they find they should fucking investigate, because I don't know, that's a really weird, like, it's a weird component of the story that I don't quite get. The engineers stay on board for repairs while Dallas, Kane, and Lambert investigate the terrain. They discover the signal originates from a derelict alien ship and enter it, losing contact with the Nostromo. Obviously, it's aliens. They don't really have that bandwidth, the same bandwidth as a human does, I guess. Ripley deciphers part of the transmission, determining it as a warning, but cannot relay the information to those on the derelict ship, however you say that. Meanwhile, Kane discovers a chamber containing hundreds of large egg-like objects. It's like, what the hell are these? Once you see eggs, I feel like you should fucking leave, though, but I don't know, people in horror movies are pretty dumb. They play dumb, they act dumb. I mean, it's kind of a common trope there. When he touches one, a creature springs out, penetrates his helmet, and attaches itself to his face. So he doesn't, like, die or anything from this creature, but I don't know, he might as well have. This thing's gonna infect him for the rest of his life, you know? Dallas and Lambert carry the unconscious Kane back to the Nostromo. They need to kind of identify what this creature is, maybe do some investigating, do some observations, and this is the life form probably that caught the signal. These little aliens. As the acting senior officer, Ripley refuses to let them aboard, citing quarantine regulations, but Ash overrides her decision and lets them inside. Being the science officer, he kind of has the control over that, which doesn't really make sense, but I'll let it be. So yeah, they don't know what this creature could possess or carry, so she kind of wanted them to stay off the ship, but they ended up coming anyway. Ash attempts to remove the creature from Kane's face, but stops when he discovers that its extremely corrosive, acidic blood could hurt Kane and potentially damage the hull, because it just keeps seeping through the floors as it, like, drips down. So they realize this creature is super fucking dangerous and has some crazy, crazy traits about it. It later freely detaches and is found dead. The ship is partially repaired and the crew continues their journey back to Earth. They're like, oh, well, there's that organism, there's that transmission, let's head back to Earth. Kane awakens with some memory loss, but seems to be otherwise unharmed. Like, he could return home peacefully to his family. Now, at first you think he's just going to die automatically. But, yeah. So, during a final crew meal before returning to stasis, he suddenly chokes and convulses. He starts kind of having, like, this sort of panic attack. I don't know what it is. A small alien creature bursts from Kane's chest, killing him, and escapes into the ship, with Ash dissuading the rest from killing it. Because, well, he's a science officer. He has to, and, like, throughout the movie, you kind of, like, figure some things. Like, this guy could possibly be a robot, literally, like what they found out, which was kind of a crazy revelation. And yeah, I'm gonna say this is a pretty typical 70s horror movie, but there's definitely some things sprinkled in there that you don't normally see in a movie like this, so I guess it's kind of cool. Um, After ejecting Kane's body out of an airlock, like just throwing him into space, the crew attempts to locate the creature with tracking devices and capture it with nets, electric pods, prods, and flamethrowers. They're trying to get this thing the fuck out of here, and they're willing to do whatever they can. Brett follows the crew's cat, Jones, into a landing leg compartment where the now fully grown alien attacks Brett and disappears with his body, so we can pretty much assume that Brett died from this. You know, there's nothing that really points to him living from that. After a heated discussion, the crew decides the creature must be in the air ducts because it's really hard to pick up transmission from there, and they're not able to pick it up from anywhere else. Dallas enters the ducts, intending to force the monster into an airlock, but it ambushes and seemingly kills him. Pretty much, yeah. So Dallas is gone. Lambert, realizing that the alien intends to kill the crew one by one, like a typical horror movie does, implores the others to abandon ship and escape in its small shuttle, but Ripley, now in command, explains it will not support 4 people and insists on continuing Dallas's plan of flushing out the alien, even though if you guys are alone and you're going after it one by one, you're not going to achieve that. Everyone's just going to die, I mean, I would have rather just went out in the shuttle, to be honest, but hey, it is what it is. Maybe they want to kill it and explore it. Accessing Mother, Ripley discovers the company has secretly ordered Ash to return with the alien and to consider the crew as expendable. And this is when we kind of realize that Ash is like a robot, pretty much. Like, he has fixed instructions. I don't know if anyone else on the ship kind of knows that. Maybe I think they did find it out though. Like the second they started hurting him and he started leaking out those liquids. She confronts Ash, who tries to choke her to death. He's obviously super strong. Parker intervenes and clubs Ash, knocking his head loose and revealing him as an android, which again is kind of a crazy revelation. He, Ripley, and Lambert reactivate Ash's head, and they learn that he was assigned to ensure the creature's survival. Like, they knew the creature was out there. It wasn't some sort of mysterious transmission that they randomly just picked up. They knew he was out there, which is the crazy part. He expresses admiration for the creature's psychology, unhindered by conscience or morality, and taunts them about their chances of survival. Ripley cuts off his power, and Parker incinerates him. So yeah, the character Ash, obviously the android, is dead, and now there's just these 3 people. And yeah, they kind of programmed him in a fucked up way, to be honest, because he doesn't give a fuck about any of the crew members. He doesn't that's why he doesn't create any friendships, and he's so to himself throughout the movie. That would explain it. The remaining crew decides to self-destruct the Nostromo and escape from the shuttle, realizing yeah, we're not killing this thing. However, Parker and Lambert are ambushed and killed by the creature while gathering life support supplies, which, yeah, now it's just Ripley. Ripley's like the final girl, if you will. Ripley initiates the self-destruct sequence, but finds the alien blocking her path to the shuttle. This thing ain't letting her get out easily. She retreats and attempts unsuccessfully to abort the self-destruct, but it's too late, and now she has to actually make it to the shuttle. With no further options, she flees to the shuttle, carrying Jones, and narrowly escapes as the Nostromo explodes. Now, she probably should have known that this alien was going to be on here when we cut to some of the final battle things. As Ripley prepares for stasis, she discovers that the alien is aboard, having wedged itself into a narrow space. I mean, it was pretty much right there, so I don't see why it wouldn't do that. She dons a spacesuit and sees gas to flush the creature out. It approaches Ripley, but before it can attack, she opens an airlock door, almost blasting it into space. However, it hangs on by gripping the frame. This thing is not going away easily. Ripley shoots it with a grappling hook, but the gun catches as the airlock door closes, tethering the alien to the shuttle. And it's it's almost like she'll never kill this thing. It pulls itself into an engine exhaust, but Ripley fires the engines, blasting it away into deep space. So that's where she kind of kills the kills the creature, finally defeats it. After recording the final log entry, she places Jones and herself into stasis for the trip back to Earth, and that's pretty much how the movie goes. Now, again, if you have never watched this movie, don't be coming to my videos. I know I kind of forgot to do like a spoiler warning, but yeah. That was an interesting ending to a movie, but we can give a review for it. Getting into the review, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this. I don't think it's an extremely garbage movie, but I don't know. I'm not really a huge fan of science fiction in the first place. I mean, the film's merits were great. I don't know. I mean, over time, I guess, people started to kind of warm up to this movie, but I just don't see how it's that good of a movie, in my opinion. The film was an empty bag of tricks whose production values and expensive trickery cannot disguise imaginative poverty. Like, the writing room, I don't know, they need to... Like, people during that time really suffered from writing the same old fucking movies. I mean, this is literally... What was the movie we watched? The other space movie we watched on the channel? Someone can let me know in the comments. I mean, I don't know. It's one of the... It's probably one of the scariest old-fashioned, space operas I can think of. I mean, it's pretty scary. Like, that's one thing I'll give to it. It is a scary film, but I don't know how good that makes the film still. I mean, it was scary. It was basically a haunted house film set in a spaceship, and was not the greatest science fiction film ever made. It kind of tries to balance itself between regular science fiction and horror, and I'm not really sure that quite works out for this movie's case. It's an accomplished piece of scary entertainment. I mean, it definitely accomplishes something. It's definitely a successful movie, so I guess I can't really knock on it too much. But, Sigourney Weaver was great. I mean, an actress who could become a major star. At the time, she was kind of up and coming. I'm not sure how big of an actress she actually became, but, yeah. For me, the final shape of the alien was the least scary of its film forms. I mean, I think like the little guy in the beginning was more scary than the final boss, which is kind of interesting how that works. But that's probably one of the major things. I mean, this movie's not creative. The alien creature isn't even really all that scary. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool how like the acid is like running out of his mouth. He's got like silver teeth but really like the original creature from like when Kane got attacked, that was more scary than the actual creature like that we saw in full form. I don't know. Again, like I say in the thumbnail, it's just another 70s horror film. There's really nothing that special about this that I can hold it to such a high level. But anyways, let me know in the comments what your guys' thoughts are. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I mean, this video is going to be getting out to you guys around 10:30, so that's really cool. Have a good rest of your day. Tomorrow we are going to be reviewing The Orphanage. Hopefully that's a slightly better film. It's from 2007. We're doing the Scratch It. We're steadily there. We're almost like 20% through the list, so I'm out, guys.